to the stream, such as it is. I am your host, Slade Braddock, and I'm just bringing. Well, these guys are swooping low today. This is the Green Dragon manufacturing facility right here, and it's named after these crazy aerodynamic wonders right here. On this planet, I've named it Blue Hawaii. I should have named it Green Hawaii because it's one of the greenest planets ever. I just want to showcase this real quick. It's just beautiful. Probably the best system I've ever discovered. The weather is described as a refreshing breeze, which is good because the temperatures are running the 80s and 90s. But just about as idyllic as you'd want for any system to be, and just beautiful, as you can see. The colors, especially at sunset, are just insane. And you got palm trees everywhere. So anyway, I know I'm probably the 612 billionth person to name their tropical planet Hawaii, but there you have it. My originality is at stake here. Regardless, again, welcome to the stream. If you're watching, just want to say thanks to all the people who have helped me out in the past, and all my buddies in the FDI, the Free Delta Initiative, which is an amino-based group, and we're a tight-knit family. Everybody's welcome. We like to help out new members, anybody coming along, stopping by. We we welcome anyone who is looking for just a community to hang out with, to help, or just to say howdy, have a cup of coffee with, whatever. You can find us in the amino apps. Just look for Free Delta Initiative. You'll find us. All right. Well, without further ado, the purpose of this stream / broadcast is to showcase a farm system that I built. And as you can see, as I pan around here, you can see different farms that I've built on this planet. It's a system of farms because trying to get 1 billion units worth of materials in one base is not going to happen. However, using a simple system, breaking down the different components that are necessary to make fusion igniters, and this can be done with stasis devices as well, but at 15.7 million units a piece, it doesn't take long to get to 1 billion. So, but I've decided to go with the fusion igniters, and there's a couple reasons for that, which I won't go into in a moment. But like I said, this can be used for fusion igniters as well, and stasis devices as well. And some members of the Free Delta Initiative and myself are going to be showcasing that here in the near future, how community builds can make it all happen. But for this purpose, I just wanted to just run through. I've got about 8 bases similar to this one that I'm just going to be hopping around and collecting materials, and then using the blueprints for fusion igniters to craft those things and sell them and try to get to 1 billion units. Now, as you can see, I've already got my units maxed out, so I don't really need them. And so what I'm going to do is end up here. So this is actually the final stage. This is the Green Dragon Manufacturing Company, and I'm using these 5 storage units to store all the goods in. I'm hoping that Hello Games will come up with a factory system, since we have all these beautiful tier 1, 2, and 3 manufacturing goods that we're able to use. But we really have no lab to craft in, so we have to use our exosuits or ship inventories to do all the crafting in. And I'm hoping I'm going to start a campaign through Twitter or something, and start spamming them with the needs for a lab of some sort, so all this isn't necessary, and crafting can become a little bit more ergonomic. But anyway, So what I've done is I've taken everything out of these storage units that I already had stockpiled for these, and I'm just going to delete them out of the inventory. I hate to do it because it's worth a lot of money, but like I said, I'm already maxed out. I don't really need it other than to give it away. So I'm just going to go ahead and clear all this inventory out. These are all components used in the production of fusing igniters. And we're gonna get rid of them all so that we start from scratch, so that I can show you how it's easy to go from 0 to one. It's basically 1.014 billion, 1.014 billion, to 1,014,000,000 units. I'm crafting 65 fusion igniters. That's what it comes out to. You're gonna get a substantial amount more than that if you find a system that has a nice plus bonus to the selling of those items in a good system. It doesn't have to be high-end tier 3 economy system. It just needs to be one that's friendly to fusion igniters, and you can get substantially more than 1,014,000,000. Let's see here. So, oh, there's some circuit boards. Let's get rid of those. Okay, there's some heat capacitors. We'll ditch those too. I'm not going to get rid of the ship hogs that have nothing to do with that, and they're nice to have around. There are a few elements that you need to start out with. These can be purchased in trade stations, or space stations rather, at the galactic terminals, and you're going to need about 20,000 units of condensed carbon, some uranium, some ammonia if you want to do everything from scratch, and plenty of oxygen to craft. If you're going to be a purist and you want to like buy nothing, uh, then you're going to need to find some elements. There's about 5 basic elements that you need to have, but those can all be purchased in the space station for pretty cheaply. And also, dirty bronze and lemium can be, for just a relatively small investment, a couple of million for 65 of each of those, and then that'll save you on a lot of the process. And I recommend doing that. Buy what you can at the space station. The lower tier items, you don't want to spend a lot of money, because the whole purpose is making a profit here. So anything you spend is going to take away from that. Um, However, um, so a pure ferrite, you're going to want you don't need quite a full stack of that, but you're going to need, be good to have a full stack. You can get that at the space station. Um, and everything else is just a matter of just going around and collecting them. Setting everything up is it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of farms. It gets pretty quick after the first couple. I was slapping these things up pretty quick, and it wasn't much of a thing. Uh, but like I said, the setup is pretty intensive. You need 3 different gas farms. Um, if you can get 32,500 units of each type of gas, which is what you need to craft 65 of these things. Um, you can spread that out and make 2 small farms of each one, but now you've got more farms. So what I've done is I've just maxed out production on the sulfurine, the nitrogen, and the radon factories to produce minimum of 32,500 units each. And so I only have to harvest them one time, and I'm done. Okay, let's do a quick save. Let's make sure I haven't got, that's my ship inventory there. And as you can see, okay, I've just got the basic elements that most people have, um, which is, you're going to want that. We'll do a quick save, and we're going to warp to the first farm. Like I said, this will be the ending one. We'll harvest what's here, and then we'll head to the storage units and the refiner section and do the crafting. And we may have to do some crafting along the way because, like I said, without a laboratory to do this in, hint, hint, hello games, We'll start at Green Dragon 1. This is the Green Dragon manufacturing, and so I've got 1 through 5 of the circuit board materials, basically the plant life that needs to be farmed, and then we'll hit up the gas farms and collect everything, and we'll end up back here. So yeah, but without a lab refinery throwing the materials in and out, moving things around in inventories, and it's okay. You got to have some footwork involved in it, I believe, to make it worthwhile. But to make it somewhat interesting. But I think it could be streamlined and a little bit funner if we were given a factory, maybe similar to something along the lines of the frigate missions room, the debriefing room on freighters. Something like that would be phenomenal. That would be really cool. So I'm hoping that will be a thing at some point. Um, right now, I'm just gonna have a look at my laptop and see if I can get this to come up so I can make sure that my stream isn't uh, cutting out on me or anything like that. Let's see where we're at. Looks like we're doing okay. All right. Turn down the volume. Apologize for this. We don't need any feedback. My voice is quite annoying enough as it is, so let's just let's eliminate everything we can. As you can see, there's a sort of a structure that seems to be, for me at least, pretty ergonomic. I didn't like ladders going up these towers, so my buddy Agent Tomcat suggested using short-range teleporters to get up, and that has been really instrumental to me continuing this, because the dynamics of going up and down on ladders in No Man's Sky is pretty bad. There's a lot of cool things about this game. It's my favorite, but there's some things that need work, and getting on and off a ladder is way too difficult to do in this game. So I'm hoping they fix that at some point. But for now, I've come up with a system here where you can just do quick warps right up into each section of this. So and they did add these harvest all buttons, which are freaking awesome. So cool. I've got just enough plants, just actually a couple of extra, to where if everything gets harvested correctly, and I've got 1,053 units on that, so that's good for that one. If that continues, we'll have enough to make all 65 igniters. But I have done on a couple of run-throughs, I've come up a little bit short, um, where some of the plants didn't quite harvest exactly right, and I ended up just a little bit short. Still ended up getting the bulk of of the 65 fusion igniters, but I was pretty disappointed I didn't get the full amount. But you know, what do you want? Eggs in your beer. All right, so we got, okay. That's all 4 of those. We get those 4. All the teleporters that are on the left-hand side go up, and all the ones on the right go back down 1 level. And when you get to the top, there is a ladder at the top to just poke a hole through the top, so I don't have to use all the teleporters to get back down again. So it's just a quick exit. You go in through the bottom and harvest your way up and exit through the top is the idea there, so you can get through this farm relatively quickly is the idea. So keep bopping around, and so green dragons all over this planet. Um, Really super cool. There's also a about a 12-foot tall wolf unicorn thing that I've named Stark's Wolf after our buddy Stark Wolf at the Free Delta Initiative. He's one of our super members, of which we have quite a few. He's always available in chat, and super cool dude. And, so, and I saw that, and it's a predator. This four meter tall wolficorn. He's a predator, but he doesn't attack travelers. It's funny. He'll run right past me to go after some of these other critters on the planet. So I'm especially fond of him because he doesn't try to kill me. There's killer crabs, attack crabs I call them on this planet, which will do circles around you and hide in the grass and jump out at you because they're little, what's. But so there's actually lots of different types of predators on this planet, which I kind of like. I don't mind a little element of danger. Since there's no storms or anything to kill me, there needs to be some danger on this planet, I suppose. Alright, continuing on up, I think. This is our... No, we've got one more level after this. This is the Mordite level. Everything does seem to be harvesting, but I thought that last time too, and I know I've done the math on there, so if every plant gets harvested successfully, we'll have enough, like I said, to do all 65 of these suckers. We'll see how it all pans out. And I haven't timed this out either. I wanted to, initially I wanted this to be I wanted to be able to tag this video as 1 billion units in an hour. Well, unfortunately my my run-throughs that I did, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, they didn't, I didn't come close to an hour. But I was doing a whole lot of other stuff too, running around and doing this and that, and continuous interruptions. So it wasn't like I was really trying to get it done in an hour. But I kind of don't want anyone to have to try to do this in an hour. I think it should just be a nice casual cruise around the farms, picking up the stuff and manufacturing, and we'll get an idea. So I popped out the top there, and let's see what we've got here. Alright, so some of the numbers that we're going to need, just grab my cheat sheet here, is as far as crops for circuit boards, is so we're going to need 6,500 frost crystals, which we have that. We're going to need 13,000 selenium, which we've got that. Okay, this time I came up short on the selenium last time, but this time we've got it just enough. We're going to need 13,000 star bulb, which we haven't got to the star bulb farm yet, but we did collect 900 here because I had to throw in some extras. 19.5 9,000 fungal mold, which is by far what you need. 1,000 fungal mold. I had to actually make 2 separate fungal mold farms just to, so that was pretty labor intensive. And then 1,625 mordite. And it's funny because you watch a lot. I lost it last time, and it ended up being there, so I probably could have deleted that. But anyway, so we have so far we have everything we need. Everything's getting harvested like it's supposed to, right on time. Let's go ahead and get to Green Dragon Farm number 2. Let's go to my bases, make it a little quicker to cycle through here. Green Dragon 2. And it's telling me my internet connection is not sufficient currently to broadcast gameplay, but then we're going to keep plugging away and hope it comes back a little bit. Sorry if the quality sucks, guys. Hopefully it won't stay that way. So like I said, we're headed to Green Dragon Farm number 2. Now I've got 5 farms of crops with the domes, geodesic domes and whatnot, and then I've got 3 factories that have uh, 3 factories that have the gas farms that we're going to need. And like I said, you're going to need 32,500 units of each gas to do the 65 fusion igniters. And that's what we're hoping to do. And I haven't lost connectivity yet, so that's phenomenal. Doesn't look like my picture quality is very good, so like I said, I do apologize for that. Hopefully the audio is coming through well. I haven't got any feedback. I don't see anybody in the chat yet, but if anybody actually is watching, go ahead and let me know if the audio is coming through. I think it is. When I did have to turn down the. I know that guy's a predator. He's a nasty. If they ever improve the AI on these things, we could be in trouble. Alright. Okay, so here we are, Green Dragon Farm number 2. Just want to eliminate these guys here so we can have a little bit of fun. I did have some terrain grow back that had covered the bottom half of a couple of my farms here, and I had to reflatten the terrain back out. What a great feature that is, right? The the terrain flattening feature and the restore feature on the terrain manipulator are freaking phenomenal. I can't. They're 2 of the greatest improvements I think that happened with the synthesis update, which is, I really can't say enough about that. They overstate one update, and I was disappointed with it. I'm talking about Beyond here. It's good. I don't think it lived up to the expectations. And the synthesis was so underplayed and came out with so many great quality of life features. I was just amazed by that. It was really, really cool. The Lone Pine, hey, what's up, man? Thanks for dropping by. He says, what are the minimum plant counts now if I wanted to place a single biodome per higher value craftables? Audio is fine too. Thank you for saying that. What are the minimum plant counts now if you wanted to place a single biodome per higher valuable craftable? So if you're talking about T3, which are the stasis devices and the fusion igniters, the minimum plant counts now, well, so they're different. Each plant requires a different amount. So if you wanted to just, we'll just go with minimum, as you said. If you wanted to craft 1, you would need 100 frost crystals, which is, I think that's 80. Yeah, that's 81 per plant. You get 81 units of frost crystal per plant, so you need 2 of those plants. Selenium is also 81 units per plant. You need 200 of those, so you'd need you need 3 of those plants. For a star bulb, you need 200 star bulb, so you need, and those are only 41 per plant. So you'd need 5 star bulb plants. Cactus flesh is 162. I don't know why they're so varied. But you'll get 162 units of cactus flesh per plant, but you need 300 units of cactus flesh. So you need two cactus flesh plants. Fungal mold, you need 80. You need 600 units of fungal mold at 81 per plant. So you'd need, like I said, fungal mold is the most labor intensive. So for 600 units, you'd need 8 plants, something like that. Yeah, they give you like 640 something plants or units. So you need about 8 of those plants. Mordite, you'd really only need 1 of those plants, so that's all you'd need for there. You need 500 each of the gases: nitrogen, radon, and sulfurine. And And then the other six basic elements you need: condensed carbon, ammonia, uranium, pyrite, pure ferrite, and ionized cobalt. Um, or you can buy some of those items. Like you can buy almost all that at the space station. The condensed carbon you could make out of oxygen if you wanted to, or you could farm that quite easily. But those are the numbers for minimum. That's for one fusion igniter. I can't really talk and do this at the same time, so because I suck at that. Uh, so let's get on with this. But hopefully that helped you out, man. Oh, sweet. Said thanks. Those are the numbers I was looking for. If you have your numbers on a spreadsheet or otherwise, I'd be interested in checking it out. Okay. I actually do. I did all the numbers. I was going to create one on my laptop and print it out, but I haven't done that yet. But I would definitely be happy to do that. If it's going to help anybody out. No worries whatsoever. Okay, so that's level 1, and I finally got smart as I created these. I kept getting lost and wasn't sure what level I was on, so I put little decals with the numbers on here so that I could know what floor I was on each time while I was warping or teleporting rather. Starbulb typically gives me the most grief as far as coming up a little short and everything not harvesting at 100%. So I'm hoping I ended up with these. I hope I end up with the correct overall count when I'm done here. But this will, all these plants will give us 65 circuit boards, which is strangely enough only one of the many components in fusion igniters. It takes a lot of blueprints, and it's a little time consuming if you're going to do them in mass. But it's, as far as I'm concerned, the fastest way to generate serious dinero in this game. Stasis devices and fusion igniters are, like I said, easily now they are labor intensive, but it gives you something to do in the game. So all the running around and the button pushing for the crafting is a little more work than, say, if you were just going to go collect some activated indium, which has become very popular of late, and of which a couple of our members at the FDI have created some amazing activated Indian farms, and that's Independable and Mr. Marty Merrick. If you're familiar with those gentlemen, they are one. I was going to say they are one of a kind. They are each one of a kind, and really awesome folks, which is pretty much all we have at the FDI. But like I said, they have some activated indium farms that will blow your mind. You just walk in, bring an empty ship, bring plenty of slots because you're not going to probably have enough to hold it all, and you just collect it up, dump it, dump it off on some unsuspecting economy that will never be the same once you've drained all their resources of units, and then go sell your suit inventory worth of their activated indium. You will be rich in moments. Um, and then you'll want to do the other inventory at a different location. Because, like I said, you'll crash the economy and you won't get the same dollar value for the next load. So you're going to want to hop to another trade station. Okay, we've reached the top of this tower here, and I'm not sure, but I think we were getting. Okay, I think we're getting the max number of each harvest. We should be getting 533 units per dome. I kind of took my eye off the ball there for a minute, so yeah, we need to end up with 13,000 units of star bulb. So let's have a look. See. Yeah, we've done it. So we've got a little extra star bulb there. That's beautiful. Let's just climb out the top here drag our butts to the next location. Hard landing. Some of this ground has overgrown, so I'm not at all sure what happened to my teleporter. Oh, there it is. All right. Well, I'm gonna come back here and do a save at the base computer, just because I'm not at all certain that I won't crash. I hope not. Okay, and that's cool. I got a timer. I'm half an hour into the stream. I've done a lot of talking, so I'm a little behind schedule. But, so far everything is going pretty well. At least the numbers are coming out, so should end up with 1 billion units at the end of this broadcast, if I make it all the way through. And, thanks, Lone Pine, by the way, for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. It's nice to have a little company doing this stuff. Oh, you say, stop playing No Man's Sky after Beyond. Is FDI a newer Civ? We've been around for about 1.5 years, actually. Um, so it's not really a newer Civ. It's definitely not the oldest. Um, but so yeah, it was created by Panda from the Hidden Panda Show, myself and Lily Hop and DG Squared from the cafe, the No Man's Sky Cafe. If you're familiar with any of those folks, I'm sure you know who Panda is. Um, I think I've seen you on his stream, maybe it's Swords. I know I've seen you on Swords stream, but so yeah, he's an amazing streamer. He's been a little busy of late, so he hasn't put out much content. But yeah, we're like I said, we're not newer, um, but we're not real well known either. We don't really advertise a whole lot. Panda does when he streams a little bit. He plugs our civilization. Sword does from time to time, um, but we don't actively recruit. But when we're around or when we're putting out content, we'll definitely throw the invitation out there for anyone who wants to join us. Like I said, we're Amino based, so if you have the Amino app, I know a lot of people aren't real familiar with it, or those that are don't really trust it, but really it's a great companion app for No Man's Sky. We have a pretty extensive wiki with ships, with multi-tools, with locations of S-class modules, and pretty much anything you need in this game. Our guys have sniffed it out. We got S-class alien rifles, S-class experimental rifles, and we've got them all logged with glyphs and pictures and circles and arrows and directions and pretty much anything you want. You join the FDI and you jump into our. We have a live chat that goes pretty much 24/7. There's always somebody. I'm always on. Yep, I'm. You know, um, if I'm awake, I'm in the chat. Um, are we cross-platform? You do use Amino? Oh, sweet. You used to work with top of the Galaxy. I remember Top of the Galaxy. You guys were some definite movers. I haven't heard much from you since then. I was actually a member, or at least I was on that Amino for a while. But wow, some amazing stuff. I all but forgotten about Top of the Galaxy. Wow, that's old school. Yeah. Um, so yeah, um, you can look us up, a Free Delta Initiative. I'm a little busy at the moment, or I would definitely throw a link to that down there for you. Um, but yeah, we're friends with the No Man's Sky Cafe, the Amino Hub. Um, Boyd is a good buddy of mine. I'm a screen printer, apparel decorator. Made the Amino Hub some hats and some T-shirts at one point. Um, Heck, I made T-shirts for a whole bunch of different people. The Galactic Hub. I sent them out. I went on a tear 1 month and did. Gee whiz, I did a whole bunch of apparel and T-shirts and whatnot for folks. I did some caps for Boyd and for Sword actually, um, for the Amino Hub, and that was cool. So yeah, we're familiar with all. We're friends with all those people. Um, and we're, like I say, we're just casual. You don't have to have a base in our area or any of that. You know, we're friends that non-denominational, so to speak. So yeah, just if you're still on the amino, just do a search for Free Delta Initiative and hook right up with us, Mr. Pine. Definitely love to have you. Definitely love to get you back in the game too, man. Get you back up to speed with um, the last few recent updates. The quality of life and has improved dramatically on No Man's Sky. We've just done a lot of things. You've probably seen me using the Harvest All feature on these domes. That's just one of the many things. It wasn't really even advertised. It just happened. Um, they got Byte Beats now, uh, which is I don't know if you're into music, but you can now create music and put it on your bass. Synth music. It's a, what do they call it? A MIDI equalizer. Um, Noisemaker. I don't know much about it, to be honest with you, but people are doing some amazing stuff, and with you can hook it up to your lights so that the music is synchronized with lights, so you can make really cool disco dance floor type things. Uh, just amazing stuff. I highly recommend. If you were ever a fan of No Man's Sky, now's a great time to reacquaint yourself with the game. It's got me reinterested. And honestly, I stopped playing for a while. I sort of lost interest. There wasn't a lot to do for me. Pretty much done everything in the game, but really rekindled my interest in the game. They just are relentless in coming out with new content and bug fixes and things like that. Now, we'll be honest, the multiplayer stabilization, they're trying their best with it. There's still a long way to go as far as I'm concerned with where they need to be to really make it legit. And just to interrupt, I'm gonna go ahead and warp to the next fungal mold farm for an update of what I'm doing here. Um, but they've got a long ways to go as far as I'm concerned, to really stabilize the platform for multiplayer. But as you know, when the game first came out, it wasn't intended to be a multiplayer game. I give them a lot of kudos for doing what they everyone has asked it to become, which is a massively multiplayer online game. And they've made a lot of inroads and a lot of progress toward that end. They still have a long way to go, frankly. There's a lot of glitches, a lot of difficulties with bases loading, especially when you get multiple folks in one area in one lobby. Um, it can be fun. It can be super fun when it's not when it's not glitching out. Um, but it's still an amazing game, and there's so many things to do and new things to discover. So if you haven't played during Beyond, I really recommend that you pop in and if you've still got the game and give it a just run around a bit and poke around and see what you can find. Um, because like I said, there's been a lot of quality of life improvements and some new additions to the game that you might find real interesting. Okay, we're at Green Dragon Farm in No Man's Sky. The pop in and construction limit reached are my irritations. Otherwise, I love the game. Yeah, it's hard to ignore that. Quite frankly, it's hard to ignore the pop in and some of the other issues. The terrain regrowth, which I thought it has been improved. Is it gone? No, it's still there. It's still a thing. Um, I don't think it's as bad as it was, or it does seem to be a relative improvement in that. Um, but it's still a thing. I I don't know if they're ever going to be able to uh, really stabilize the platform to the degree that it's really going to be a viable multiplayer game, such as it is. I'm kind of hoping they restructure and maybe uh, recreate the game on a different foundation that is intended to be multiplayer. If they can, I don't know if it's possible. I'm no program. I don't really know much about video games or how they're made or all the tech that goes into it and whatnot. Uh, but if it's possible, I'd sure like to see them do it because I would definitely invest in a No Man's Sky 2 or a sequel to the game that's a lot more stable and more viable for multiplayer. I would jump on that, and I would spend whatever amount of money would be necessary to realize that dream, because it sure is a lot more fun playing with your friends. I mean, it's just that's the bottom line. Being able to meet up and do you know, races that you're not falling through the earth and um, things like that. PvP that was stable. All the things that go with a multiplayer stable platform. If you were playing Call of Duty or something like that, you don't experience those things. So, you know, I would love to see that someday. And like I said, I would pretty much spend whatever amount of money it would take, to get that done, and to play the No Man's Sky without the stability issues that it's had since launch. That's the one thing that's remained for everything else is that the multiplayer factor there. But they've done what they can, and it's still fun. And like I said, our community is based around the Amino anyway, so we've we've created our community, and so have all the other communities, the Galactic Hub and the Amino Hub, and all the various communities at the top of the galaxy um, at one point, and we've done that on our own using the various social media platforms that are available out there. We've done all that and made it, sort of filled in the gaps with that. Totally agree. Unification Days multiplayer aspect this year seemed really minimal compared to prior gatherings. Yeah, uh, I I don't know if I agree with that. It seemed that way. We couldn't actually even have an exocraft race. Um, I was hoping that would be the case. And my experience was a little bit different though. I'm glad you had I'm glad that yours was a little better. Mine wasn't. Mine was actually a little bit worse. We were able to do a PvP match that we were able to do, and that was good. Uh, but um, we're gonna go ahead and start working on. By the way, gases. I'm gonna go ahead and collect some sulfurine. So I'm headed to my sulfurine gas farm. We were not able to finish an exocraft race. Now, my friend Into the Door, my partner at Epic, the Empire of Pirates and Independent Cartels, which is my first Civ that I created, and he was my buddy there. Um, but he was, and we're still buddies. He created a really good racetrack, exocraft racetrack on the low gravity planet there in the Unification Day system. It was phenomenal, and in fact, Agent Tomcat and I practiced, and I had the track record on there. So we practiced, and we had a few issues with just me and him, but we were able to get a few races done. It was tons of fun. I was really looking forward to the exocraft racing at Unification Day. Um, but after multiple attempts of trying to get even four people there at the same time, um, without crashing or even the base becoming like just totally popping out of existence. One moment it would be there, and the next minute it was gone. Um, it was impossible. We were not able to complete even one race. And that was hugely disappointing because that's always my favorite thing. Um, so yeah, that was tough, man. But as I said, as I mentioned before, and I think it's really important that the one thing that this game does really well is tap into that that sci-fi, you know, I'm going to go ahead and collect some extra phosphorus because I did find a phosphorus farm in conjunction with this awesome sulfurine farm, which is all overgrown. And as you can see, the terrain grow back has affected me a great deal, but it actually works pretty well because it looks kind of cool. The silos are still visible, so I can at least still collect the sulfurine without any problems. And I've got 33,000 units ready to rock and roll. That's super cool. Grab that and off to the next farm we go. I had to, this was all overgrown, and last time I was here this was all invisible. As you can see, the terrain just grew up all over all of this, and I had to find it by re-excavating it, but it hasn't regrown back, so that's good. I'm pretty happy about that. We're going to go on to the next gas farm here, which will be Radon Repository. Now these ones are off planet. These are the only two farms that are actually off planet, because obviously you can't. You got to collect gas. Each planet has its own native gas system, so we're gonna have to. Hey, Manic Miner's popping in, buddy. Hey, how's it going? Haven't seen you around before, but hey, welcome to it, man. I appreciate your patronage, and hopefully you're getting something out of this. I'm definitely not the top tier streamer compared to some of these, compared to some of my friends and people that I follow. But I've created this little farm system here that I'm hoping is going to be useful to somebody. I'm trying to show that you can make a billion units using your own farms on mostly all on one planet. They can be, it can be anywhere you want now that you can just use a teleporter, put bases wherever you want. And so, I'm just trying to demonstrate that people can really make a lot of money really quickly once you get the setup, whatnot. If anybody has any questions on how I did any of this, it's all pretty basic stuff. If you're fans of the game and you've been following along, it's not too difficult. It's just time intensive in getting it all set up. But I've got 3 gas bases set up on separate planets. And then I've just got 5 different farms using all the various crops that are available in the game to create circuit boards. And see, as you can see, this one is overgrown as well, and I'm not even going to bother excavating it because I could still access it. So I got my gas. I'm getting out of here. We'll head to the nitrogen farm next, if I can find it. And when we're done here, I might show you a couple of the bases that I made, creative type bases. Where is Hawaiian Nitro? There it is. Okay. And this is our last stop, actually right here before we start manufacturing these bad boys. Because we got all the crops. Oh no, we still have cactus to go. That's at our last stop. Our very last stop is at the manufacturing company. That's where I've got the storage units and the refiners that I would normally use to use oxygen into carbon and then carbon into condensed carbon. So that, because condensed carbon, I don't think you can buy it. It really does need to be refined, but oxygen is, everywhere you go, literally. So throwing that in, into a couple of refiners. You're only supposed to have 2. I tried to. So one of the things I wanted to do with this stream and with this whole farm build was not use any glitches, not use any cheating. In case anybody doesn't know how to do that or has a problem with it, there's a lot of purists out there, for lack of a better word, that that don't want to do that. And I don't blame you. Pay the game. You pay for the game and you play it the way you want to, whether that's glitching or not glitching, whatever that means. I have no problem with glitching myself, or duping or any of that stuff. I don't. I've done it. I know how to do it. I've done videos on it, showing people how to do it. But I really do enjoy the footwork and in creating the all the things. That's the fun of it for me, is doing the work, and at least knowing how to do it, even if I don't end up doing it. Okay, so here we are. at the nitrogen, and I've got just enough, 32,500 units to create 65 fusion igniters, which will give us 1.014 million billion units per harvest. And so just over 50 minutes in, um, that was second to last farm. We're gonna head, if I can find the teleporter, and before I get eaten by this critter that's after me, we'll teleport back to the final farm, do our last harvest, and start our manufacturing. Manic Miner says, I've had No Man's Sky since 2017, but only been playing for a couple of months. Love it so far. Hey, I don't blame you, man. There's a lot to love. There's a lot to the game. Now, it wasn't always so, um, but what it lacked in content, it made up for in the immersive feeling, that lonely space game that it used to be. If you played it in 2017, you kind of know what I'm talking about. It was still very much like that. It has evolved quite a bit more into a more multiplayer experience. What I was just talking about a minute ago. Um, but it has evolved in a lot of really, really cool ways. So yeah, I'm totally with you on the enjoyment of it. It's a strangely immersive and fun game. Whether you're playing with friends or whether you're just you're by yourself. I spend the vast majority of my time in the game by myself, but usually talking with my buddies on our social media. On the Amino. We have the Amino app that we keep in contact with each other through, and we post our finds, our discoveries. We make blog posts showing the planets and the multi-tools and the critters that we find. Share that all together in videos, and it's a really, really a great. It's almost like the Amino app was created for No Man's Sky because it fills in all the blanks that of the multiplayer aspect that the game kind of lacks at this point in time, anyway. So yeah, we're hoping that some of that gets transferred into the game canon itself. I'd like to see guild lobbies, where we're able to talk in party chat without having to go into the PlayStation 4 party chat, um, where we've got guild halls where it's not really necessary to use a third party social media platform, but hey, it's working and it's good. I wouldn't trade my No Man's Sky experience for anything in the world. There are very few games, possible exception of Minecraft, that have captured my attention, kept me busy. Now I'm an older man. I'm going to tell you my age. I'm not super old, but I'm not young anymore either. And I still play Minecraft from time to time. Say what you will, but Minecraft is a really great uh, uh, sandbox type of game, and so is No Man's Sky. It's a sandbox. Uh, Create what you want inside this sandbox type of game, and I dig it a lot. It's uh, it's probably not going anywhere for me anytime soon. I'll probably play this game until the disc is worn out, and I'll probably go buy another one. So it's definitely got some legs. It's got some staying power for me. And like I said, they keep throwing out free content. Um, Gee whiz, as long as they keep doing that, um, they could probably stop updating this game entirely, and I would probably still keep playing it off and on. Maybe not as much as I do now, but definitely, I know I would off and on. I would I would miss it if it was gone, and I would come right back to it and start all over again. Maybe, who knows? Manic Miner says, I'm older too, just turned 50. I've been playing Minecraft for about 6 years. Definitely got my money's worth. Oh, heck yeah. You and me both, man. You and me both. I'm right around your age, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, definitely got my money's worth. I haven't logged in to Minecraft in quite a while, but that's mostly because I've been playing No Man's Sky. But although they're pretty vastly different in a lot of ways, they're also super similar, in other ways, and that is that you can just get on by yourself and be in your own little world, and where no one needs to intrude, and you just got this fantastic, you know, creativity that at your disposal. You can do whatever you want. It's really cool, really, really, really cool. Okay, here we are. We're back to the final stage of this and final farm. I didn't use the oxygen farm because we've got plenty of that, so I don't need to manufacture. Normally, I would be uh, using oxygen to refine to carbon, to condense carbon using these refiners. Now, again, with the last update, they limited the amount of large refiners you can have to 2. I have glitched in 3 additional ones. So this is, like I started to say earlier, I've tried to do this without using any glitches or duplication methods of any kind, um, and so I won't use these. But like I said, I did glitch these in um, using a technique probably most are familiar with. I don't know, but technically you're only supposed to have 2. But we're going to go ahead and skip that process for now because I've got plenty of condensed carbon anyway, um, and I've got pretty much everything I need to go ahead and start manufacturing. Uh, let's look at the inventory. That's the ship. So, boy, it looks like we had just enough room to get all the crops in there, with the cactus being last, and we've got. But I did not check the numbers on that yet. So let's go back here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 40,000, 42,000 units of fungal mold. We needed 39,000, so we've got more than plenty of that. And it looks like we've got everything we need. I don't need this feline liver because I'm getting attacked all the time by those critters. I've got tons of feline liver in my freighter, so I don't need that. I've installed 5 storage units, um, and I've emptied them all out. These usually I just sold a couple of billion units worth of fusing igniters and gave them away yesterday because I wanted to clear these all out to show that this can all be done um, from scratch. You don't have to have anything really, except for the basic elements, as I mentioned earlier, uranium, pyrite, pure ferrite, ionized cobalt, and ammonia, and of course condensed cobalt. But those are things that you usually have in your inventory anyway, so I'm not really counting those. Uh, so I've got all my gases there. I'm going to dump all my crops over here at the number 4 slot, and we're going to work our way left. Oh, I did not. Okay, so I had some leftover crops, and I'm going to, before I do anything, I'm just going to delete all these because I really want to demonstrate that this is all done from scratch. 1 billion units from scratch when you build a farm system like this. That's a lot. So in 4 days you can go and pretty much max out your units. Might have a lot of fun doing it. Okay. We'll throw all our crops in there now that we've deleted the ones I already had. Let's throw this phosphorus into the backside here. And get our cactus out. Try to keep everything in the exosuit proper. I don't want to use the high capacity slots for too much unless I really run out of space. And like I mentioned earlier, it would be really nice to have like a laboratory type room provided by Hello Games, similar to the frigate expedition rooms that you have in your if they could create a manufacturing room, that would be phenomenal. Um, oh, Manic Miner says, just earned yourself a new subscriber. Watching your stream might just give me a kick in the butt to stream myself. Hey man, I'll watch your stream. I'll subscribe right back. Of course I will. I think that's phenomenal, and one of the main reasons this game has had such long legs is because of all the awesome streamers, and I'm not talking about myself, but people like Sword and Cobra, Panda from the Hidden Panda Show have been really instrumental in keeping my interest in this game at a peak. And just again, it's always the community, and the streamers are the ones that are always showcasing the new features that are available and keeping the community updated that may or may not have time to log in all the time. That's really important. And so mentioning those names, and a lot of them escape me at the moment. I really want to plug them hard right now, but like I said, Sword and Cobra and Panda from the Hidden Panda Show. There have been so many, and a lot more new streamers come up and coming, and there's always room for more. So feel free to hop right in there, brother, and do it, because I learn something from everybody. Every time I watch a stream, somebody is telling me, reminding me of something I'd forgotten about, or teaching me something totally new, a new technique or a new feature that was added that, there's no manual for this game. So really, you don't always know what's available. So streaming those things, even the new guys, they're always coming up with something, or either a product or a new technique or something like that no one's really privy to. So it's important, jump out there and hook yourself up. And like I say, I got your name now, Manic Miners. So if you've got a channel, feel free to drop a link, and like I say, I'll be your first subscriber if you don't already have any. All right, so what we're looking at, we're doing heat capacitors, as you may or may not have noticed, and we're going to need 65 of these. We're going to need to make polyfiber, 65 of those, and once we've got the polyfiber made, we'll have the components for the circuit boards, which is a tier 2 manufacturing product, and a necessary component in the tier 3 fusion igniters that we're going after today. And so this is the most tedious part of the whole process, is this continuous button pushing, and I'm hoping that they eliminate this at some point, because, like I said, a laboratory. Hello Games, cough cough. If you provide for us a laboratory to do some of this manufacturing of items in, that would be phenomenal. Okay, what have I got? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65, 66 it looks like heat capacitors. Is that right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65, 66. Okay, just enough. Just enough with one extra, I guess. Let's put the extra back in, and I'm going to, for space conservation, here's some circuit boards already made, and I forgot to delete these too. Let's get rid of them. Don't want to be cheating here. Alright, we'll dump our heat capacitors in there until we've got the polyfiber made. We'll come back and grab these and make our circuit boards here in just a minute. But for now, we're going to need cactus flesh and plenty of it, and star bulb and also plenty of it. And we'll make 65 or so polyfiber, if we can find it in our list. There we are. And again, Manic, I do want to appreciate you stopping in. What a surprise. I don't typically get a lot of viewers. So, like I say, I'm not a big time streamer guy. I don't know. I'm not a guru like a lot of these guys. I am a launch player. I have been playing and been paying close attention since before the game even dropped. The big write-ups in Game Informer magazine. I was waiting with bated breath for this game to come out, since they advertised it coming out. And when it dropped, I grabbed a hold of it and played it. Got to the end of it, and I put it down because there really was nothing more to do. And like a lot of people, I wasn't jaded. I was really happy with what we had, but I recognized the limitations and all the dead ends that were there, that have since been expanded upon and worked out things like that. But I put the game down for a couple of months, and I played some other games, and um, then I looked back into it at the end of those other gameplay sessions, and had discovered that they'd actually come out with 2 updates that I wasn't aware of. And I jumped back in. There was Exocraft, and there was this, and there was that, and a whole bunch of new cool stuff. And I can't even remember. I think that was Pathfinder update. Let's see. Let's count these real quick. Sorry to interrupt. So we got 30, 40, 50, 60, 65, 68. Again, just enough. So it looks like our numbers are coming out beautifully. And I want to leave a little bit of room. So I don't want to have to bounce back and forth from inventories. So that gives us our circuit boards. Wow, we're really super happy that the numbers are matching up so far. It looks like we're going to hit our billion units relatively easy. However, we're now a little over an hour into it, so getting it all done in an hour, which is my original goal, was I thought, you know what, this could be done in an hour. But the way I talk and can't stay focused on anything, I'm sure. I also want to throw this out there. I am very much aware that not a guru in this game. I don't know, and I do know that there's a whole bunch of other people out there who know the ins and outs of all things No Man's Sky, and I'm not one of those guys. I know enough to survive and get things done for everything that I need. I don't know all the tricks, but I know a few. Um, but having said that, my whole purpose in mentioning that is just that I know there are better and more efficient ways of doing what I'm doing right here. Um, I know they exist. I don't know what they are. This is the best I can do. But I know there's players and guys out there and gals out there that can do a much better job more efficiently. Um, so, expanding on what I've done here, I'm quite sure someone. I don't know that anybody's done $1 billion per harvest farm system. I'm sure somebody has. I can't be the first, but this is my version of it. This is what I know to do, and I just wanted to share that. So, I know that there's more efficient ways. If anybody's watching, and he's going, oh, like, you could be doing this and this and this. Yeah, I could. But this is the best I can do, so I thought I'd share it. Okay, so what do we got here? We've got 20, 40, 66 circuit boards. And a little extra polyfiber, which we don't need, but we'll hang on to that. Manic says, I do have a channel. It's mostly Minecraft content, which received nearly 1 million views. Only just started playing with No Man's Sky videos. Holy Toledo, 1 million views. Wow. That is impressive, my friend. Um, yeah, well, if you've got 1 million views, you could probably come up with you know, probably a large following if you started streaming. I'm quite sure you would be hugely successful with it. That's amazing. Heck yeah, 1 million views. No, I would never touch that. I'm pretty sure. Okay, moving along. Uh, the next thing we're gonna need is some. We're gonna need to pull out some condensed carbon, and we're gonna need to craft the tier 1 stuff, um, which is nitrogen salt, um, organic catalyst, thermic condensate, enriched carbon, and all those things are necessary. 3 of those you need 2 each of, so you need to actually craft 130 of those things, and that's the thermic condensate, the enriched carbon, and the nitrogen salt. So um, let's get our gas out of storage. We'll start hammering on that. And I'm just going to pull out a couple of stacks of each one so that we don't overburden our storage. So we're going to need all the storage we can get. I guess we'll start with nitrogen salt. Like I said, we're going to need 130 each of these because they actually get used twice along with the rich carbon and thermic condensate. Um, they are reagents that occur twice in each one fusion igniter. So you need twice as many of these as you do everything else. And since we're doing 65, we're going to need 130, obviously. Okay, buddy. I will try to keep up the good work. And yeah, feel free to come by anytime. Like I said, I don't stream often. When I do, I try to make it useful. Um, so if you catch me on, man, I'd sure love to have you back. In the meantime, start that stream. I'll be looking for you. You take it easy. Thanks for stopping by. And right now we're just doing a whole bunch of button pushing. Yep, hoping for that lab someday. Hello, games. Before my thumb wears out. Alright, so we're going to need, let's say, 130 of these, 130 thermic condensate, and 130 enriched carbon. And that's where it's so intensive. To make sure that you've got plenty of condensed carbon, because it all works on condensed carbon. This one's nitrogen and condensed carbon, but then the same as with the sulfurene and then the radon and the condensed carbon. I'd add 130 a piece. What is that? 390 altogether when you count all those three reagents. So I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 75. Let's just keep going. Keep on trucking. What am I missing? Collect 2 nitrogen. Okay, I need some more nitrogen. Let's get back to it. Love pushing them buttons. It'd be nice if we could, at the very least, toggle up to where you're crafting 10 per button push or something like that. It's got to be something a little more ergonomic. Alright, let's pull out another empty storage container to throw these down in. And now what are we looking at? Looking at 20, 40, 60, 80, 95 it looks like. Another thing I'd like to see is bigger numbers on these stacks with tiny little numbers. And even if I put the cursor over there, it doesn't tell you how many's in the stack. Well, what the hell is that all about? Hello, games. Make the numbers black or bigger or something. Please, K, thanks. That's my rant. Alright. Let's do some more button pushing. Oh, Stark Wolf in the Amino says, I'll have to watch the stream later, Slade. Kiddos are up and we are going. Alright, buddy. You take it easy, my friend. Try not to abuse your children. That's horrible. I'm just teasing. Okay, so we had, what did I say? I forgot now. I don't want to make too many of these because I'm going to need the condensed carbon for the other reagents. 20, 40, 60, 80, 95, 100, and 15. So I only need 15 more of these anyway. And then we can start on the other. And I'm going to run out. Nitrogen. I have to tap into the last stack here. That's fine because we just happen to have What I'm hoping is just enough, as usual. Okay, 10 more. Holy Toledo, we're down to the very last unit of nitrogen salt. Just enough for 130, just enough for 65 of these bad boys. And talk about cutting it close. I might want to expand my nitrogen farm just a bit. Okay, all right. Well, next on our list, and let's go with thermic condensate. Let's just double check our condensed carbon. Oh yeah, we got plenty of that. I made sure we were well stocked for this run this time around because I ran out last time, and I didn't want to do that on live TV here, so I made sure I had all the components. What I'm honestly not sure of is, do I have all the stuff for geodesite, and I'm still a little nervous about that. Um, so geodesite or geodesite, however you pronunciate it, is one of the three components to making fusion igniters, and those are crafted by making or buying dirty bronze, Herox, and lemium. Now, you can either buy the components for all three of those, or actually two of them are available at space stations. Those being lemium and dirty bronze, eliminating four basic elements right off the bat. So for a relatively small investment, you can buy a small stack of 65 lemium, 65 dirty bronze at space station of your choosing, and save yourself a lot of time and effort on that, which is what I highly recommend. But barring that, you can also just craft them out of basic elements, but you'll either have to mine that, farm it, or um, or buy that itself. So I just recommend for the relatively small investment, just go ahead and buy the dirty bronze, buy the lemium at a space station. You can get that while you're buying oxygen or whatever you're doing to for the oxygen while you're at a space station at any point, and save yourself the time and hassle. Okay, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 74. We're going to need some more gas. Might as well take a moment. Oops, wrong storage. Take a moment, drop these off. Grab some more sulfurine. Finish these off, and then we'll work on the enriched carbon that we're going to need. I think I've got a little bit extra gas in these other ones. So we should be cutting it as close on the enriched carbon and the rest of the thermic condensate, I hope. But yeah, this is the vast time sink that Tier 3 manufacturing does require at this point in time. I am hoping for a quality of life update for manufacturing, a lab, if I haven't mentioned this already, a lab room of some kind, maybe similar to along the lines of, like I mentioned earlier, a frigate expedition debriefing room, something like that, only to be used as a manufacturing facility, so that one doesn't have to go back and forth into various inventories, moving parts back and forth, continuously shuffling and reshuffling, and possibly losing track, like I think I have just done. Because I think I made way too many thermic condensates while I'm talking. Let's find out. I got 20, 40, 60, 79, 89, 99, 109, 119, 122, 27. I think I need three more. Whew, that was close. I don't want to go over because I don't have enough materials to come up short. Again, some of these use twice. So I don't want to make too many of one thing and then wind up short on something else. So I keep wanting to go to that other storage container for some reason. All right, so let's. It looks like we've. Whoops. Looks like we've hit our target for the thermic condensate. 40, 40, 60, 70, 80. 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 120. No, okay, so I need one more thermic condensate. There we are. We'll start on the enriched carbon now. Let's dump off the unused gas. Collect the rest of the radon. Get started on that. And then we'll be moving on to the next portion of our manufactory. Oops. For anybody just joining us, as a description in the stream, we're attempting to reach 1 billion units in one harvest of this farm system that I've created here on the blue Hawaii planet, mostly, except for 2 farms which have been for gas on 2 separate planets for obvious reasons. And the target being is we couldn't do it in an hour, so our goal is 2 hours, one harvest, over 1 billion units. And so what we're trying to do here is create 65 fusion igniters. Same can be done with stasis devices with the right setup. You just have to adjust your crops accordingly. You'll need more gamma root for stasis devices and different elements. I have created those before, but I prefer fusion igniters due to the availability of Herox, Lemium, and dirty bronze being available, and mostly as free drops during pirate battles or fighting sentinels. You typically get a ton of that stuff, and so that's not necessary to manufacture. Basically free components in what amounts to 15.7 million units per fusion igniter. So I'm all about getting free stuff. So I've chosen to go the fusion igniter route, and I'm sure someone will tell me that, hey, stasis devices, you can get these other items for free doing this or that or the other thing. That's cool. This is just the way I do it, and I don't. I'm not going to try and say this is the most efficient way of doing it or the only way of doing it, because I know that's not true. It's just the way I do it, and if you can get anything at all that's useful out of this, that's what I'm here doing this for. I have to risk exposing my ignorance in other areas. I don't mind, because I am. Don't know everything. So many more people that have a lot more knowledge about this game than I do, but I'll share what I do have. Okay, so what have I got? I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 85. Got a few more to go. A few more buttons to push before I can rest. And if anybody does have any tips on how to streamline this process or to make anything go a little bit smoother or whatever, hey, feel free to drop a comment in the chat, or at the bottom of the YouTube stream. I'm not above taking advice from people who know a little bit more about stuff than I do. Not in the slightest. So, yep. All right, let's dump off some of these and conserve a little bit of space in our inventory for the next item, and see where we're at. I only need I only need 130 of these. And how many do I have? I've got 20, 40, 60, 80, 115. So I'm going to need 15 more of these. And if I don't fall asleep pressing these buttons, then we'll move on to the next thing. Use empty. Okay. Use empty spot to select total amount you want to craft. Um, it saves the square pushing to create single items in stacks. Okay, I guess I don't know what you mean. So there's an empty slot. How do I create more than one using a? How do I create a stack? From what menu do I access that? I'm not seeing it. At one point it seemed like I knew how to do that. Craft, use the up down to select number crafted. I'm not getting it. Okay, craft, down. Uh, hit craft, select item to craft, then hit R1 to increase amount before crafting with X. Gotcha. Okay, so let's try this again. Hit craft, select item to craft, then hit R1. Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, there it is. Change craft amount with L1 and R1. Lone Pine, I love you, bro. Oh, here I am just here crying about. Yeah, I got that. I got that. Thank you, my friend. I'm the only one in all of. That just illustrated my earlier point. I only needed 15 more, now I got 19 more. That just illustrated my point on how I am always learning something new. Um, just, I don't think any one person knows everything. So that's a pretty basic thing there. You're the man, bro. Appreciate it. All right. That's hugely helpful. Boy, what a my thumb was getting tired on there. I'm the only one in all of No Man's Sky who doesn't know how to create stacks. I think probably. You're a big help, Lone Pine. I appreciate it, man. All right. Well, that'll help the rest of this process go much smoother moving forward. um, okay. So let's see. We've got our three basic components of enriched carbon, thermocondensate, nitrogen, salt. Um, Now we just need to create the items needed to craft the fuel. Um, the geodesite, the the lemium, the dirty bronze. We're going to craft all those instead of buying them because I forgot to buy them. And anyway, we're crafting today, so if I don't have enough for everything I need, we're going to have to stop and make a run to the space station for just to save some time. But hopefully I've got enough of everything to go ahead and make this happen with. And I only need 65 of these, and here I go again, pushing these buttons just out of habit. Okay, so craft, bang, 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 bang. Oh, and you don't even have to, you can do even more than a stack here. That's phenomenal. So I've already got 15, I need 50 more. Oh, wow. That's so much cooler. Wow. That's the best tip I've gotten in ages. Wow, that's amazing. You guys are laughing at me. I'm laughing at me too. Don't worry about it. Okay, dirty bronze. I hope I've got enough pure ferrite. I think this is, yeah, this is pure ferrite and pyrite, and I know this takes more pure ferrite than anything else. So, oops. Oh, okay. So I need 64 of these bad boys. If I hold that down, will it just go? Nope. I'm still gonna hit buttons. Ah, I need. What do I need? I'm short on something. Oh, pyrite. Oh, for crying out loud. All right. All right. Well, quick break. I happen to know where to find some pyrite. I know a couple of systems, so I'm just gonna fly up to the station. Actually, no, I'm not. Before I do that, I'm gonna make sure I have enough for the lemium, and if not, then I'm going to kill two birds with one stone and get what I need while I'm there, so that I don't waste any more time. Okay. Um, Herox, dirty bronze. I need lemium. And 64 of these. Hoping I have enough. And I'm out. Okay, well, there we are. Alright, so I'll need a stack of pyrite, and I will need a stack of, looks like uranium. Let's see how much pure ferrite I have left. Well, can't buy Herox, you can only buy dirty bronze and lemium, so I'm going to need the components to craft them with. At least the Herox. I already have the Herox, so all I need is dirty bronze and lemium, and I can buy both of those. Um, Away we go. I do believe, as a matter of fact, there is one system that has both of those things, and I can't remember which one it is. What am I doing? I needed to take the teleporter. I always want to jump in my ship. Such a noob. Alright. That's not it. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm sure I am, it's the what I've called the Crimson Aquarium space station. There it is. We're just gonna jaunt up there. Um, I know there's pure ferrite available there. I know there is ionized cobalt available there and pyrite. I know those three things are available. So if I don't have the lemium and dirty bronze available right then and there, I can still buy the components. But fingers crossed, I can get the ionized cobalt. I'm sorry, the lemium and the dirty bronze, and I won't have to craft them. Let's find out. All right, get rid of that. Hmm. Oh, there's lemium. I'm gonna buy. I don't remember how many I actually had. I'll buy 60 of those. Okay. Now, what I need for that I don't have that written down, but I can look in the crafting menu. So I need pure ferrite and pyrite. I'm going to exhaust both of those items right here, I believe. Pure ferrite and pyrite. Oops. Come on. There we go. Alright. We're hooked up. We got the lamium, we have the dirty bronze components anyway. We're going right back to manufacturing. We're going to kill this 65 fusion igniters inside of 2 hours, I do believe. My base is Green Dragon Manufacturing Company. Off we go. And those 65 fusion igniters is going to net us a minimum of 1.014 billion units, all in one harvest, inside of 2 hours. And if we get lucky enough and land on a station, because I'm not going to hop around from station to station, you know, and try to get the very best price available. It's probably a good idea to get, hey, Wizard, my friend, what's going on? He says, yo, Slade, nice to see you streaming. It's good to be streaming again. I haven't done it for a while. I haven't really had anything useful to share with anybody. So it's been a little bit since I've done it, but you know, I've come across. I decided to go ahead, and I've always wanted to build a farm system that that could produce 1 billion units. So that's what I've done here. It's taken me 5 crop farms and 3 gas farms to build a system that, you know, you could harvest, and bounce around to these farms and just collect everything, and then take the blueprints for the tier 3 item of your choice, whether it's stasis devices or no, I'm stuck in here. Whether it's stasis devices or fusion igniters. How the hell did I get stuck here? The point is to get out of here. There we go. Blast my way out. Yeah, so 1 harvest. I'll collect everything you need. Head back to the player created manufacturing laboratory, since Hello Games hasn't supplied us with one yet, but I believe in them and I think they're going to do that. Hint, hint, cough, cough. Yeah, head back to this manufacturing facility and put everything we've collected together into a nice, beautiful package of 65 fusion igniters to be sold. Like I started to say, it's going to be a minimum of 1.014 billion units. It's 1,014,000,000. Oh, that's cool. Wizard says, most I could do was 80 million in 1 harvest across 3 planets doing explosives and liquid glass. That's not a bad way to go. And you don't necessarily need 1 billion units all at once. But, you know, and especially if it's going to require, you know, 8 farms to do it. But, you know, it's fun building the farms, and it's fun having a system where you can just go through, collect everything, and make 1 billion units, bang. And I've never done it either up until here recently. It gave me a goal to reach and something to do in No Man's Sky, and ultimately that's what I was looking for. Something to keep me busy, something apart from duping, which I'm kind of famous for, glitching and duping, cheating my ass off. I'm a pirate, what can I say? I'm an old pirate. And it's hard to change my ways. But yeah, this gave me something to do that's legit. And you know, it's been fun, and figured, you know, it's useful enough to where people that don't glitch, people that don't dupe, they want to get their money, but they don't want to wait, you know, for weeks and weeks and weeks to do it. This is an alternative, you know. Build a farm system, and I will read off all the numbers that I used to get what I got, to keep it as minimalistic as possible. I have just enough to get, just enough of all the components to get just enough components to make the 65 fusion igniters, which equals a little over 1 billion. And again, if you search around to different space stations and look for the best possible price. You can get quite a few more millions out of it, and just search for an economy that's really generous on fusion igniters, and you can find them and get up to a couple 100 million more on a stack, on a stack of 65 that's that big. The more you sell, the more difference it makes, to get a better price. I just am too lazy to go about doing that. So anything that doesn't give me a negative value, if it's positive value at all, I'll dump the whole shebang down and get my 1.1014 billion units and call it macaroni. I don't care. Okay, so I just can't talk and operate at the same time. So, all right, I've got 18 dirty bronze. I need 65. That means I need 57. Correct? All right. So let's find an open slot. My buddy Lone Pine has reminded me how to get, not to have to keep mashing buttons one at a time to get what I need. How do I not have enough? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, well, I have enough. I don't know how I did that because I ran out of material somehow. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65. So I have 69. So we gotta have a number. That's not a bad one. All right. And this particular area right here, where you have to have 3 different things to craft one thing, is particularly annoying because now I've got to use either my high capacity inventory or my spaceship inventory, which it seems I'm going to have to use both. So transfer that to my ship. Now I'll be making the geodesite, which uses the dirty bronze, the lemium, and the Herox. And I'm not sure how many I'll be able to make. Okay, I need 64 more. You need an empty slot to do this, so it's only going to let me build 5 because I don't have enough. This is where a factory would be really nice. I need more Herox. Wrong slot here. Alright, sir. Why it's only letting me build 5 at a time. Okay, there it goes. There we go. Alright. It's because of my not enough slot availability issue. Let's collect the rest of what am I short here? I've had to use different inventory slots to stash things because 65 units of everything is a lot. But having to move things around continuously really makes for a manufacturing nightmare. Okay, so we got 10, 20, 30, 40, 55. And 61. And I've got, well, I've only got 1 dirty bronze left. one. No, I need one more dirty bar. Are you freaking kidding me? Alright. I think what I'm going to do is I don't think I have a trade terminal down here. I don't really want to fly all the way up to the space station. I don't think I can. Oh, I can. I can put one right there. Wasn't sure if I'd be able to put it on glass cuboid, but guess what? You can. And it's changed. It's changed the available. The available products list, so that I don't have what I need to craft. The very last dirty bronze. Hey, there's Stark's wolf right there. This is the giant wolficorn that I was telling you about. Let's just take a pause for the cause real quick. I'm going to show you this bad beast. Is he the coolest? Agent Tomcat took a ride on him the other day. But this is one of my favorite beasts in all of the game right here. And the reason is because he's a hunter. He's going after those guys. He won't attack travelers. He won't attack me. Take these guys out. He's the best pet ever. Alright. Sorry for that little side quest there, but I felt it was necessary. This is just so damn cool. I am forever losing my this thing. Teleporter. This time we're going to go to... Well, first, I have to make sure I know what I ran out of. The dirty bronze, I need pure ferrite and pyrite. So what did I run out of that I can't create it? And it is the pure ferrite that I'm out of. So that can be found at the Pirate's Trove space station. So you might see a theme here. My civilization is called the Empire of Pirates and Independent Cartels, which are itself a member of the Free Delta Initiative, which is the sort of overgroup hub that Epic belongs to. I'm going to go to space stations and I'm going to punch in the Pirate's Trove. And we'll go ahead and grab some pure ferrite up there. And next time I'll be a little bit more prepared. I think we're still going to come in under the 2-hour budget. We're cutting it pretty close. We're working on an hour 50 now. So we've got about 10 minutes to finish this up. But we can cut out a lot of my screwing around and still keep it. Probably get under an hour and a half for you guys that know a little bit better about what's going on in No Man's Sky than I do, which is probably the vast majority of you. This is just the way I do it, and it's casual. It's not a lot of intensive this or that or the other thing. And this has Lemium for sale and good amount of pure ferrite. So we'll restock up on that, and I'm just going to make the last piece of... Oh, holy Toledo. I had the dirty bronze the whole time. It was in my Starship inventory. So, do you see then the need for a laboratory type of thing? So that you're not always shuffling all these items around through various inventories and mucking things up. Alright. I think I've probably beat that horse to death. You know, that horse called a manufacturing lab that I would like Hello Games to institute into the game. Perhaps even for the next update. For crafting. And as I may or may not have mentioned earlier, um, if one were to institute such a thing into the freighter, let's say, um, a room similar to the frigate expedition debriefing room. You could even put it right next to a frigate debriefing room and use that next room over for manufacturing. And you can keep all your items there. You'd be able to access all your inventories all at once for the purpose of the tier 3 manufacturing components. All right, I won't mention that again, I promise. Probably. All right. We're on Planet Blue, Hawaii, and man, is it beautiful. I just love it. There could be more water. There is water. There are lakes, and some of my facilities here, some of my domes are built over lakes, and they're pretty beautiful. But there's no real oceans, and I kind of don't like that. There's some underwater caverns, and there's clams and wildlife and whatnot, but there's no real expansive oceans, which I kind of wish there was. But well, with all the other things that this planet has to offer, I'm not bitching. Okay, let's get this back over to the other inventory. Let's craft the last geodesites that need to be crafted. Am I one short now? I think I need one more Herox. Okay, there we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay, I ended up with 5 extra. Apparently my math is just atrocious. Um, Point is I have enough now to do what I gotta do. Okay, so we've now finished off one of the 3 components. Maybe we won't make it under 2 hours here, but that is only not because it can't be done, but because of my incompetence. And that's fine. You guys will have a better show of it should you decide to take up the challenge and create a system for yourself. Um, but there's one of the 3 components. Hopefully the other two will go relatively more quickly. Um, those being, we need the fusion accelerant, we need organic catalyst, we already have the nitrogen salt, we need liquid explosives, we need superconductors, uh, semiconductors, unstable gel, acid, and those are all components that we're going to use by starting with the fungal mold and making the acid, the cactus flesh, the rest of the cactus flesh. That's why we had so much extra cactus flesh, is because we need unstable gel and acid from those 2 plants to create the liquid explosives that we're going to need. So we'll need 65 acid, and this time I'm going to knock these out real quick like. And I do apologize for the delay and not having all the components ready to rock and roll. I really thought I did, but that's what thinking gets you, evidently. Alright, there's all of our acid. We'll dump that in there. We ended up with a little bit extra fungal mold. That's alright. That will hold over to the next harvest, just in case we're a little bit short next time. In case the auto harvesters don't work correctly, as sometimes does happen. We'll need 65 unstable gel. Knock those out real quick. That will give us our liquid explosives, which, as Wizard pointed out, you can make quite a bit of money just selling liquid explosives, and that's really only a couple of different crops right there. And if you wanted to make a giant farm doing those, there's just so many different ways. I don't need 90. How did I end up there? There's so many different ways to make money in this game. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation is that so much can be done within the confines of this game. This is just one of the ways to do it, and I just want to stress that so people don't think this is the only way. Blah blah blah. Not so. All right. That is our liquid explosive. As you can see, one is worth 800,000. So you you can make a pretty lucrative farm just doing any one of these components. It's just when you put them all together, they're worth exponentially more. So you can make money faster by doing the legwork and investing the time in making the farms and doing all these things, and doing a little bit better job of streamlining it than I have here. Um, and I'm getting a few more slots every time I do this, so that's good. So, by far, this is not the only way to do it. See some more acid. I know this time I'm going to remember I've put this over there. And just knock these out solo real quick. I should end up with 65 of these. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65. Beautiful. Alright, we'll stash these over here since I've got room. Room is always the issue. It just takes up so much inventory slots to do this. Alright, so we've got our liquid explosives. Now that's one of the components in fusion accelerant, which is here, and then the other, no it isn't, okay, it's organic. It's hard to keep track of some of these. Okay, I need organic catalyst and nitrogen salt. I have the nitrogen salt, so I need the organic catalyst, which is a combination of the thermic condensate and enriched carbon. So we're going to take all of those, which is going to be super inventory intensive. I'm not going to have enough room. Everybody's favorite message: no free slots in suit inventory. Oh, okay. So organic this is why you need 130 of each of these. You use thermic condensate in the semiconductors that you need, and you use thermic condensate in the organic catalyst that you need. You also used enriched carbon in one of the other things you need, which is the superconductor. So yeah, you use those twice each. So right now we'll just go ahead and move on to the superconductor since I grabbed the wrong reagents. This is where you have to make sure you're only crafting exactly what you need, because if you make too many of these, you'll come up short with the organic catalyst. You don't want to do that, or you will not get 65 fusion igniters. You got to be careful. So guys like me that are easily knocked off their nut, so to speak, it becomes a little more difficult. And here I am doing them solo again. Alright. The Lone Pine, he's probably shaking his head. Like, have I taught you nothing, Slade? Alright. Got 30 of these. I need 35 more. Let's do it this way, since this is the smart way to do it. I'll only be able to get 30 because I've left some of these items over here. Come back and get them. And I've left some in here also, I believe. Yes. I need 5 more of these. And there we go. Alright, so we'll see where we've got some room. Dump these off. Yep, and there's our 2-hour mark. and we're running behind a little. That's all right. I didn't, I didn't have a whole lot to do today anyway, which is why I'm streaming. So, uh, the good news is that if you're watching this after the fact, uh, you can just skip through all this boring crap that I'm doing here, and kind of just get the good parts out of it if you can figure out where they are. Okay, I shouldn't be able to craft any superconductors. Okay, there's my nitrogen salt. Let's put this back in the front slots of our exosuit here. All right. Now I needed the organic catalyst is what I needed. And I don't need any more superconductors or I'm going to be in trouble. So what I need is 65 of the enriched carbon. And we can lose the nitrogen salt for now. Let's get rid of that. Put that back. Ryder S, what is up, my friend? Good to see you, sir. Thanks for stopping by. I'm just trying to demonstrate my farm system that I have. I don't know how far you've been following along, but I'm just trying to demonstrate how you can create a system of farms using just enough materials and reagents to make 65 fusion igniters, which will get you a little over $1 billion. And what I'm hoping is under 2 hours, but what has actually turned into slightly over 2 hours so far, and I'm not done yet. So, uh, yeah, but that's because I can't talk and work at the same time. It seems. Uh, but if I keep at it, I might get better. That's what I'm hoping. And like I pointed out, there's so many different ways to do. Uh, so many different ways to make money and farm and to do things. And I just want to make it clear that this is only one of many ways, and this just happens to be the way I do it. 60. Okay, I need 5 more. What have I done with my other 5? Tucked in here. I think they are. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but I just decided it wasn't really that important. People know me by now. They know I'm not a great streamer. Um, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65. Okay, I got this into those. They know I'm not a great streamer. But, hopefully when I do stream, the object is to be able to produce something that somebody can use. So, I'm hoping that someone can use 1 billion units in 2 hours. Uh, I know I can. That's why I went ahead and built these farms. It's just a little labor intensive, but once you've got everything set up, it's just a matter of harvesting and pushing all the buttons, and away you go. Okay, I believe I've got 65 of all the necessary ingredients now for this. I've got 65 nitrogen salt, organic catalyst, and enriched carbon. And that's pretty much what I need to finish off this big push to the end. Okay, I now need to craft some fusion accelerant, and I'm going to need the organic catalyst and nitrogen salt. So let's grab that out of here. Da 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 da. If I can remember which reagents I'm using. Right. I'm going to go ahead and use the back slots because it's just. No, I'm not. I changed my mind. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep doing the way I've been doing it, so I don't confuse anybody. All right. So fusion accelerant. Have to go as slots get freed up. Work our way up from there. Until we get up to 65. Now, that should be 65. 10, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65. Beautiful. Let's throw these back in the kitty. Kitty. All right. Now I need to craft. Let's see, with the liquid explosives and fusion accelerant, should be able to craft. Yes. Portable reactors, which is the second of the three components that I will need in order to produce the critical fusion igniters. Let's get that done right quickly. And we'll get to the last and final component. Which are the fusion igniters themselves. No, which are not the fusion igniters themselves. The last component are superconductors. Then we'll be able to do the fusion igniters and we can wrap this whole thing up. You get the idea, though. Actually, all the useful information that you needed was really just on the numbers of the farms that you need, the number of crops per dome, the number of domes per farm, etc., etc. Once you have all those, this is just all done at your leisure, frankly. So the rest of this stream is actually kind of superfluous, just listening to me ramble on and on and on, saying the same old things. 35, 45, 55, 65. All right, there's all of our portable reactors. We now only need to craft the superconductors. And we're on our way. Let's get rid of these. Put these back down where they belong. And grab these circuit boards because we'll need these as part of the superconductor. You need these for the quantum. What are they called? Quantum processors. Okay, so I need this. I don't need the superconductors quite yet, actually. I've become a little confused here. I'm old and it's showing. .com, ahoy Captain Slade and chat. What's up, DK? What's up, my buddy and fellow FDI member? .com is the diggity, and that's the highest honor I could bestow on anybody, quite frankly. He's a good friend and confidant, and a solid member of No Man's Sky Cafe and the Free Delta Initiative Aminos, and just a great guy. Always helpful, always supportive, always shows up to everybody's streams and says hi, and just super supportive. And we really appreciate that, man. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the circuit boards because I've jumped ahead of myself. And I didn't want to do that, but there it is anyway. And I need to craft the superconductors, which means I got to craft the semiconductors before I can do that. And that means I will need the thermic condensate and the nitrogen salt that I had stashed away somewhere. Sincerely hope, because I don't remember if or when. I strongly suspect of one thing now. I should have some thermic condensate. already have the semiconductors. Whew, boy, I almost started sweating. I forgot I even crafted those. Okay. I thought I had something really, really wrong there, kids. Um, all right, so in order to craft the superconductors, I need the semiconductors and the enriched carbon that I had. Okay, let's go back and get the enriched. Whew, boy, I was sweating a little bit on that one, I'm not going to lie. Okay. That scared me. All right. And then with the superconductors and the circuit boards, we'll have the quantum boards. And I just forget what to call them. Let's try this again. Trying to make up for lost time. I've burned out quite a bit of time just horsing around. So I've come in over the 2 hour mark. This, I'm still very convinced this can be done in well under 2 hours by someone a little more on the ball than I. But you're stuck with me instead. So, all right. I need. Have I come up short on the enriched carbon? 10, 20, 30, 40, 55. I should have 10 more enriched carbon. Oh boy. There it is. I don't know how it ended up there, but the point is, we have them. So the numbers are coming out good. That will work for me. Okay. Yeah, just a little more organization than what I've got here. Anybody could do this. All right, so I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65 superconductors. That's spot on. And now I've got to collect my circuit boards and marry these to create the quantum processors. That's what they're called. Alright. And I'm just gonna use that. Those slots. Open up some more slots. Okay. Just give me 10 more, 9 more. Counting the one instead of left over here. And very good. I've got these, and I've got my superconductors, or I mean, quantum processor is, I believe, the third and final thing, and I should now be able to craft. Yes, finally down to the fusion igniters at the 2 hour and 14 minute and 30-second mark. Substantially over what I was hoping it originally was going to be. What I was hoping originally was going to be within an hour. That was my initial goal. As you can see, we have eclipsed that by quite a large margin. But we're there at last. We're finally on the fusion igniters, and so hooray! Hooray for that. And I don't mind taking such a long time for myself, but I don't like to bore the tears out of everybody. So we're going to try to keep things moving along rapidly. But me not being one of those premier streamer guys, that's a little tough. But I'm giving it my best here. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully people can use some of this for their gain. All right, going back here, hitting the fusion igniter, and I want to thank I want to thank the Lone Pine for reminding me how to craft stacks of things rather than keeping hitting the square button, which is what I was doing for about the last few weeks. Um, so that was a huge, huge tip. And so anybody in the chat, you know, offering any kind of advice, you see me doing something stupid, which is you're guaranteed to do that. Um, whoops, like that there that I just did. Uh, yeah, feel free to comment. Help me streamline this process, and we'll all be better off for it. And I think that's it, kids. I think we've done it. Let's see, we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65 fusion igniters. Um, I would go sell these, but as you can see, I've done it before, and I've actually finished yesterday maxing out my units. I'm giving these away. Here's 1 billion units, and I'm giving these away right this very moment. If anybody wants to join my game, feel free to jump on the stream. Um, PlayStation is Slade underscore Braddock. Feel free to friend me and request any amount of anything that I have available. Um, just want to be available for anybody in No Man's Sky community to help them out, um, help them get started or restarted if you've left the game, walked away for a little bit, and you want to come back. The Free Delta Initiative will welcome you with open arms, as will most other No Man's Sky communities. Really great game community overall. A lot of great, um, uh, people that just play this game. It just attracts a demographic that's intelligent, helpful, kind, and just in general, great, great people. Um, and the No Man's Sky and the Free Delta Initiative, Amino, is just one of the many communities that you can hook up to. Lone Pine, I'm really hoping that you look us up on the Amino, jump right in the chat. We'll get you back up to speed in no time at all. .com. Thank you for stopping by, Ryder. Uh, Everybody that's going to be watching the the, um, the video once it gets posted. Appreciate your patronage. Appreciate your support. Keep playing No Man's Sky. Keep playing this game. Don't give up on it. Um, Kick some ass. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off with all those things having been said. Like I said, thanks again. I appreciate it. Slade underscore Braddock is my PSN. Friend me. And don't hesitate to ask me for anything available. I'm loaded with lots of goodies, lots of tips and tricks. I don't know everything, but I know enough to help. So hit me up. And thanks for watching, guys. I sure do appreciate it. Slade out.